Good morning. What a ride in it was today. You pull out. I live on Vanderpool Road, so you pull out there at your own risk, and you try to come in and what have you. So I pull out and see a vehicle in the distance, thinking, "Hey, they're way up the road. I've got plenty of time to get out." And so I get out and I get up to speed. Going the speed limit, not poking. Well, I look in the rear view to see where that vehicle's at, and I can't even see his headlights because he is right behind me. So we go up the road a little bit further, and I'm like, okay, fine. He's still tailgating me, and so I'm like, fine. I'm going to let you pass. I'll pull over there to Vilas Post Office, let him go by, and he lays on the horn and takes off flying up the road. I don't know. I talked to Brandy, and she said the same thing kind of happened to her this morning too. Not the beeping of the horn and all that, but just getting tailgated. I don't know. People get in a hurry. That 7 o'clock traffic, you got to watch. That is not. It's not for the faint of heart. But I hope your day is off to a good start, and everything's going well for you this morning. And appreciate the dialogue and feedback. There was a really good response from people talking about maybe some things dietary that they had done, that they followed, and what have you. And so I think that is wonderful. And so one of the questions, I just wanted to talk about a couple of things quickly this morning. One of the questions that I had was, are you talking about no sugar at all, being like no fruits, things of that nature, or just no cookies, candies, and things like that? And so, in talking to my doctor, fruit is fine. Now that doesn't mean you just eat fruit all day, of course, and what have you, because it does absolutely contain sugar, but natural sugars. And so, my thing in thinking about it, since we kind of talked last, is what I'm thinking about doing for myself is I don't know necessarily that I will be a zero sugar diet necessarily, but I'm gonna try to do low to no. So I love fruit. They contain a good source of fiber, which I'm really trying to monitor and keep up. Fiber and protein, but I know carbs and sugars really can work against what I'm trying to do here, and probably what most of us are trying to do. So I'm not necessarily trying to do like a keto diet so much, but again, a Mediterranean diet where I'm focusing on getting getting the nutrients from the food that I eat. No, I'm not taking supplements or anything like that. I do have medications that I take because of being type 2. So that, I know that does play a role into it. So I'm trying to be careful in going just completely no sugar because it could make my sugar drop being on the medications that I'm on. And that's not an excuse to say, oh, you're just trying to find a loophole so you get these sugar. I'm not. I'm really trying to wean that off in the right way. So I don't know if I'll be able to ultimately get off my medication or not. That would be the goal by diet and exercise, maybe to get to that place, to not have to take the medicines and go that route. But as far as this week goes, it was very good. Followed pretty much kind of what I wanted to for the most part. Getting snowed in this weekend was a little challenging. You kind of had to go with what you had in the fridge and what you had on hand, which I get that. But what I noticed is my weight didn't really fluctuate or anything like that. Again, if you have that one meal or that one snack, I know we're trying not to do that, but if you do have that, then if you just again jump right back on and get right back on, then I don't think it's going to hurt you too bad. But I'm very encouraged by the response from people. So many people have reached out, and I really want us to do this. I think it's something that's going to be good for us. I think it's going to be good for us mentally. I think it'll be good for us spiritually, and absolutely physically. One of the things I don't know that I really talked about so much last time, but what I've got, I've got a few fitness apps and things, some things that I looked at here, but one of the apps I use, and I'm not trying to sell an app to you or anything like that, but just to let you know kind of what I'm following, is I found this app called Simple, and it's has to do with fasting. And so what I'm trying to do is not eat anything after my last meal, say 6 o'clock at night, and then not eat until lunch the next day. And that'd be around 11 or 12. I'm really trying to focus on having that time. They in my studies, it says fasting is very good for the liver. The longer you go within reason, the longer you go without eating, it gives your liver that time to heal. And so that's what the reason I'm doing that. And of course, that does help with weight loss. And I do have an app. It's called Simple, and I'm looking at that, and it kind of tracks your hours for you. It keeps it on your phone. It tracks your hours as long as you correctly input the information, the meals, and what have you that you're eating. So it will put that on there for you. So that's great. And so it kind of gives you motivation. And if you're struggling, there's a chat coach and what have you, which really hadn't got into that so much, but I can tell a huge difference in that I feel better. The other app, the other part, you see, we've talked a lot about diet. The other part to this is, of course, the exercise. And one of the things that I have here that I'm using also is an app called Walk Fit. And I've, again, not really jumped in it so much because walking is walking. And if you do it, then you'll meet your marks. Because if you use Apple, you count your steps through the day and kind of gives you an idea. But what is neat about this app in particular is you put in your weight, you put in your desired weight, and it will tell you how many steps, how much you'll have to walk per day to get to your goal. And it'll give you an end result. So I put my weight in, put in my desired weight, and kind of look at it like that. So that kind of helps me stay focused on those two things. So I think that's going to be really, really good there. And kind of going along with the message yesterday, thinking about, again, you're not your own. You're bought with a price. And it's important that when you look at your well-being, you look at mind, body, and soul. You look at everything together. And I really want us together to focus on this, not trying to be out of the weeds or trying to be too dogmatic or anything like that. But I think little improvements that we can do will really help us. We're bought with a price. You're not your own, and we're to glorify God in our bodies and in our spirit, in our soul. And I think it's important that we look at it that way in what we're doing here. Again, we plan on starting this on February 1st. We can take it the first 14 days, maybe a 14-day challenge, and nothing for you to, I was thinking about this, just kind of put this out there. You don't have to post or comment like what you've eaten or anything. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh gosh, I've got this pressure. I have to do this or anything like that, or I have to post my weight. Absolutely not. Your statistics are for you. What I hope to do and accomplish by this is just simply we encourage each other, maybe share some information with each other that is helpful, and that we just kind of take this together. Your diet it'll be completely different than mine different than yours, so it's not necessarily that we're doing the exact same thing, but we're going through this process together, not as a competition, but as encouragement, that we encourage one another and try to help one another with this. But please comment below your thoughts, and I think that was great. Again, I was trying to think, and I'll look at it maybe a little bit more definitive before we actually start this on February 1st. But I was thinking if we keep natural sugars, no added sugars. I'm really looking at food that says no added sugars and staying within that guideline. But looking at maybe no more than 10 grams in a meal. And if I'm fasting through my first meal and eating 2 meals, then that should be pretty good. Might be something easier to follow. I don't want to make it so hard that we can't do it and we feel like we just failed, but that we can see some progress, and with that progress, we keep the change, not just for 14 days or 30 days, but this is a kickstart to get going, and we just keep this thing going. I think that'll be very beneficial to us. And I'm amazed already as you start cutting out the foods that you don't need to be eating and you eat the high macronutrient food that you're supposed to be eating. It's amazing how much better you feel and everything. You can tell your body knows the difference. But again, I've probably gone on too long here, and I'll stop here. I'm trying to keep all of these under 10 minutes so we can just kind of talk through it. But please comment down below any kind of thoughts, message me or what have you. I want to keep the dialogue going, and I sincerely appreciate each one of you, praying for you, and I thank the Lord for you. And we'll be talking talking to you in the next video. Have a good day.